Today on Teuty's track analysis, we have the track of the day for December 20th, Aurora by Prof 10 and Agent Whiskey. Aurora is a speed tech track made with drivable surfaces of road and a singular strip of the sausage block. There are also two turbo boosts in the track, one at the start and one at the very end. There are some speed check locations which are passable with low speeds, but will result in poor landings. There is also just a single finish. I would say that the overall difficulty of the track is above average, as the route itself is very challenging, plus there are some sections which are quite dark and hard to see where to drive. I finished with a time of 53.976, just barely ahead of the goal time of 54 seconds. Overall, I think the track route was excellent, but the darker spots hindered it a little bit on it being even better. So on the plus-minus rating scale, I give Aurora a ++ rating. As for the analysis, I think I did pretty good on today's track outside the very ending, so there's going to be a few things we go over, but it's not going to be anything major. But right here on this turn, I was a little bit too aggressive. You don't have to turn as hard as I did here, but still, it's not an awful turn. And once we get out of there, you see me driving towards this little corner here. I felt while I was playing, this is really the best place to start your drift. So once you reach this corner piece, that is where you want to start it. And as you can see, I start that drift right at the corner. Maybe a little bit too aggressive here on this turn. Could have let go of the brake a little bit earlier to get more exit speed here. And as we approach this next drift, you want to be on the left-hand side, very far to the left. You could be maybe a little bit further to the right than I am here and get a little bit of airtime into a drift, but here I decided to go very far left and initiate the drift myself to get around this upcoming corner. And I'm pretty happy with how I took this one, really wouldn't change a whole lot about it. Then after this, we're almost immediately thrown into our next drift on this upcoming ramp part. As you can see here, I'm already starting the drift before I even reach the next platform. That's the best way I found to take this. Maybe you can do it as you land on the next platform, but I found this was definitely the easiest way for me to be able to start this drift. And as you can see, that early drift initiation allows me to take a nice tight line around this corner. And on the exit, you want to be on the right hand side into this road, because as you can see, it ramps down. So if you are further to left, you will get some airtime. Normally it's not too terrible. You obviously will lose some speed with the airtime, and you'll have to take a very tight turn to not hit the front wall. So you can take it left. It's obviously not ideal, so take it to the right hand side if you can. And I'll make it out of here with plenty of speed up until this jump here. Took this alright as well. I could have air braked to get a little bit smoother landing. But here, as you can see, a very early initiation on this drift as well. I could have released maybe a little bit earlier to have a little bit extra speed on the exit. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how I took that one. And on the exit, it takes us to one of the darker spots on the map. As you can see here, it's very hard to see where the heck you're supposed to be. Jumping into this, you obviously have a tiny bit of a sign with that arrow pointing down, but overall, this black section of the road, very difficult to see and rather annoying while you're trying to learn how to drive this map. Obviously, once you drive it a few times, you start to learn more and more, but still, it can be pretty annoying and you can still mess up there plenty of times. And we're just going to barely make it over the edge here. Almost went a little bit too long on that jump. But then here, take the right side of the sausage into this jump. And then again here for this drift here, very early on it, right about this corner here, again, is where you want to start it. And in my opinion, I took this turn pretty well. Not much I would change about it. That leads us into the next dark section here. Never really knew how to take this one. It always felt strange when I went through it, but here took it okay, I guess. But then leading into this next section here, we have this jump, and you kind of want to be pointing to the right a little bit. I really didn't get it, but immediately upon landing, you need to start this drift in order to get around this corner well. And again, I think I took this one pretty good. Then we're going to be thrown into another left-hand drift here. Very short drift, very aggressive at the start of it, and took that one pretty well. As for the end, it's very dark again here, and I didn't really care for the ending on this one, but I did take a terrible line here. You really want to follow this strip in the middle of the road. Just take that pretty much exact line to get a good exit here. I did not. I took this very low, and as you can see on the exit, I will go flying. Luckily, I didn't hit the wall and managed to keep on going here and get to the finish and just barely beat out the goal time. But obviously, the ending here could be a lot better. For the final thoughts, I'll try to keep it brief as this is a bit of a long one today. Again, I thought the route was pretty good and wish I didn't blunder by far my best run at the end. I just really didn't have enough practice there. So I'll for sure try to go back and get a little bit better time on this one. The darkness on some parts of the map did hinder it a little bit, but luckily there are only a couple of those sections. But that's going to be it for today's analysis. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like the video and subscribe, and be sure to check out all the other analysis videos on past Track of the Days. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for the next one.